As the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, guides us through, well, a shambles, to say the least. It's fascinating, isn't it, to find out that, in fact, his Chancellor, who clearly has lied on numerous occasions, has now escaped an investigation, seemingly because, well, apparently it can't be upheld. Amazing, isn't it? But it could be if it were you or I. You get the picture. What's interesting, though, is this government trundles on through one disaster after another. Of course, you know, all those local MPs that I've pointed out to you are going to face a huge backlash simply because when they go out and about on the street, the beat, trying to secure votes for the future, even though the current British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is basically trying to stop forthcoming local elections in a couple of years' time because he's so scared of the result. You see, even local MPs that I've spoken to, not of course my missing local MP, Kim Ledbetter, no, as I said, unless you want assistance with assisted dying, she doesn't bother, not interested. But of course, those that still really want to be in a position after the failure of this government, well, what's interesting is, you see, they realise that in fact Keir Starmer's protecting himself, certainly not them. The next big push that he wants to go along with is, of course, digital ID. And you might think, well, this could be a good idea or not. This apparently was all about helping to stop, you know, the invasion of migrants and all of that sort of stuff. Once again, proven a farce. You will notice, of course, also that they've now decided to ditch that line. Remember, smash the gangs. They don't mention that anymore. No, because it's an utter failure. And more importantly, Yvette Cooper was an utter disaster as, of course, the British Home Secretary. But the digital ID has hit something of a problem. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today in the very heart of course, well, a sort of nice day, in fact. Miserable sort of weather-wise, but at least it's not raining. Thank you for all your comments about the brolly and the camera. It's not easy. I know, absolutely. We'll have a lovely wave. It's not easy, chums, trust me. But you know what it's like. As many of you said, yeah, we like you out and about, Neil. There are going to be occasions I can see this winter where I'll be forced back inside. If only the same was said, of course, for the current British government. What a disaster this is proving to be. From planted migrants inside BBC Question Time that are allowed to read their questions because their English isn't good enough from a phone. You just couldn't make this rubbish up, could you? Absolutely not. Of course, you know, many people like what President Trump over in the United States is doing. Forceful action, many might suggest. Over here, apparently we can now look forward to digital ID, something that Keir Starmer is very keen to push through. And apparently this is going to help for everything, whether you want to buy a house or, you know, get a bank account. Well, there'll be no banks open, so why do you need digital ID? But you get the picture. And it's the same with every single thing. It's all apparently going to do good for you, but many people suspect this is socialism, communism at its very best. We control you, we know exactly what you're doing. But not, of course, if you look like this, right? This is, of course, a traditional, whatever you want to call it, by a certain religion. And you would say to yourself, and I've often thought this before, how on earth do you do facial recognition like that? I mean, I kid you not, I've seen people taking pictures of themselves outside British tourist spots like Buckingham Palace, dressed head to toe like that. Now, you can't help but laugh and thinking, how do they know it's you? I mean, truly, whether you agree with it or not, it is an amusing thing, right? You've got to think about it. It will be like me being in a balaclava and saying it is me. Other than the voice, how would you know? However, guess what? This government are going to be a little bit more relaxed on elements of that. And that is because they may now decide, rather than facial recognition for this particular breed, is the fact that, well, the bottom line is they may be able to use, you know, thumbprints, fingerprints, that sort of stuff. Well, again, two-tier system. And again, I have to say allegedly, and this is early stages. But why is it one for one and not for the other? I mean, you know what I look like. And if I saw your picture, I know what you look like. So why should it be different suddenly because, well, this is a way of life for them? My way of life would be, I'm not keen on digital ID. So if I'm being forced into exposing myself on a camera for the world to see, and given the hapless disaster that the current Deputy British Prime Minister David Lammy is doing on keeping prisoners inside, well, you just kind of wonder exactly where all your details online will suddenly end up. But either way, it seemingly is a two-tier system under two-tier Keir. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular developing story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.